Oh, that... Why would he clone himself? That's so weird. But you wanted it! What? What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben, and today I'll be reacting to the final episode of Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Now, I'm very excited to get into this one. I think the last episode did a good job of getting things back on track after the disaster of Episode 6, and the twist of actually having the Empire Remnant be stationed on Mandalore, and actually have them laid claim there before the Mandalorians is really good. So I'm very looking forward to seeing how Bo-Katan can go forward from this. She's had her failure, she's had her setback. Mando has been captured, Paz Vizsla gave his life in such an epic sacrifice, so now she really has to rise above all of this, become worthy of the Darksaber, and find a way to take down Moff Gideon, who now has Beskar armor. He's actually trying to become a new Mandalorian. So I like what we've seen from this show. We've had this whole idea of what does make a Mandalorian. Is it someone who takes the creed? Is it someone who wears the armor? Now we have someone who everyone can flat out, rest assured, say that is not a Mandalorian. That is a disgrace and an absolute dishonor to the armor. So while you had these two groups who are battling it out within themselves, they now have a common enemy. Seeing this guy masquerade and basically make a caricature of their entire culture. I can't wait to see the armor's reaction, because I think she's going to be the most irritated by this. But it really is such a good threat for them to deal with. It's honestly the kind of a perfect villain. Moff Gideon was already insane, and now he's actually trying to replace them. He's trying to become something that he deems better. He wants to roll cloning, Jedi, and Mandalorian all into one. The concept is terrifying. We had a bunch of sort of stuff get thrown at us in the last one, with sort of Thrawn returning, Project Necromancer being referenced up again. So I'm very excited to see where this all does lead in this episode, and what this does mean for the future of Mandalore. If they do reclaim it, what does that mean? Can they start bringing all clans back? Because of course you have Sabine out there somewhere doing whatever with Clan Ren, because right now it's just the Covert and Clan Kryze. There's other clans out there. How do they contact them? How do they bring them all home? But yeah, as always, if you do enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel to grow. If you do enjoy my content and you want to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon, the link will be in the description, of them uploading these videos and the full reaction a week in advance. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out. But with that said, let's just dive on in. Straight off with intensity, nice, yep, good.
My copy!
Wait, you're still going? You're just flying straight up? You can do that?
I'm entering upper atmosphere, but I have my orders. I'll return once...
And there goes the comms. Okay, go, go, go. He's close. If the comms are gone, that means he's close. Hopefully he makes it in time, though. He's very small. How fast can those jetpacks go compared to a ship? This corridor is built and it has lights. This is on Imperial. And they're completely unscathed by any shot you throw at them. Explosives would work. Excellent. What's happening with Mando? Because he was captured. Why does Gideon want him captured? What can he do for him? Is it just torture, or...? Can you save yourself? Would be nice. Come on, you're wearing the same Beskar. Lasers mean nothing. It's really just the force of the laser, isn't it, that does it? Because it obviously doesn't create too... It doesn't go through anyone, because the Beskar, obviously. And fire. Does the armor like heat up quickly? I'm assuming that could be something, and why fire seems very effective. Of course, it is metal, so I'm assuming it does conduct heat pretty well. But then the grappling around the neck. No. Oh, wait, you came to... How did you get there? How did you find him? What are you spraying him with? He saved you. How did you find him? You went with Bo, didn't you?
Grogu, I'm gonna need you to be brave for me, okay?
Why?
If we don't take out Moff Gideon, this will never end.
Yeah, sure, but I don't think he really is after Grogu at the minute.
You with me?
Absolutely, and now he can fight because he's got his own little battle armor. Amazing. Was expecting Mando to be captured a bit longer. Okay, so is he just going to go reunite with Bo-Katan and they're just going to be together through the whole thing? Or was the point in capturing him at the end of the last one if it's just going to be freed after now? And how did Grogu find him? I thought he was with Bo's lot.
We're safe. I escaped. I've got the kid. I'm going after Moff Gideon. Do you have a location?
No.
Oh, great. Yes, he's one of those bad, nasty jetpacks. Colors look horrendous.
If we escape to the surface, I know where we can hold up. Let's go this way!
Go towards the light. Just go. You need to regroup and form a plan. It is cool watching those things like descend, like how they just drop and then go. Because you could think just a tiny little thing goes wrong and then just splat, dead. And there's so many of them now. He has a fleet. Oh, wait a minute. Bo-Katan was attacked on her home planet, which was close to Mandalore. Was this the same ones? They got rid of Bo-Katan, who was sort of camping out near the planet in the Mandalorian system. That's what it was. It wasn't some random new warlord, it was Gideon's.
But the Mandalorian has escaped.
You should have to see to him personally. But you can track him, and he's got green. You're looking for Grogu.
I'll take care of him myself.
Great. I mean, Mando's taken care of him before, but he doesn't have the dark saber. No, neither of them have the dark saber this time. So what is Moff Gideon going to do? Are we going to see some new fighting from him?
Come in, R5.
R5, you still got him?
You're gonna have to scomp into the base and get me the location of Moff Gideon's command center.
Oh dear, the poor thing's petrified. I do like the base though. It feels less Imperial. Of course you have the sort of same Imperial lighting and stuff, but they have some of the natural rock there. That's quite nice. It's not fully Imperial. Go on R5, you got this, you got this, you got this. Does he have it? Don't fail. Oh, it's such a fighting droid. Ah, mouse. Oh dear, you're gonna get captured. What would R5 do if it gets spotted? Was it just... I feel like it would just explode. I feel like it would just panic and just self-destruct. Or just spark out. You need some way to combat these things without sort of being weak to yourself. I feel like the flamethrower must be the best thing. I'm guessing it really heats up the metal quickly. And that makes it very uncomfortable for the person inside of it.
Got it. Good job, buddy.
Yay, R5 did it.
The communications log says that's where he operates from.
He's already left there.
That's where we're going.
I think...
Ready?
I mean, Gideon can track you, so... But he's left the command center. Are you two just going to run into each other? Okay, hasn't been attacked yet. Good.
Load the gauntlets and send all available troops down as reinforcements. Leave the capital ship behind as a decoy. Bo-Katan needs our help.
Oh, actually rushing to and said Bo-Katan needs help. Amazing. I think everyone just likes her now. After she was so vehemently hated. They're actually they're saying her name and fighting for her.
Load everyone onto the dropships. Go.
And you're leaving this ship here as a distraction. Let them think that they win by taking this out. Give them a false victory. Good. Everyone's taking the jetpacks. The dropships. Good, good, good. Get on those. And hidden. And then ties. There we go. Yeah. Where's X-Wolf though? Is he just staying in there? Is he dying? You gotta get out. You're making it convincing. Showing, yep. Fight back. You're dying. You really should be moving. I'm sure there's a way you can just have it to automatically fire on them. You don't have to manually do it. You might want to leave now. Don't think they'll notice you going down. They'll probably think it's shrapnel. Is he dying here? I'm really not quite sure. Yep, the command room.
I don't have any weapons, so this might get messy.
Yeah, and there's so many of them.
There's some barrier shields. I'm gonna need you to deactivate them one at a time.
There's also a bunch of dark troopers there. I mean, hopefully they could just be statues. Are they robots? Because that was an advancement that Gideon said for the dark troopers, that they were going to be robots. Are these also droids? Or are they humans inside them? They're reacting like humans. But are they all getting ready?
Over the shield! Over the shield!
Can they? Okay, yeah, they're definitely human. Okay, good. Nice accuracy, but you lost the knife.
It's not working!
Excellent work, R5. So now Mando can take him at his own pace.
Next shield.
Get one of those weapons. That seems like it would do more. Get one of those weapons. Excellent. Oh dear, this seems so dangerous. Okay, and you got a shield. Excellent. Love seeing this. Just so it's just resourceful. Shows what a true Mandalorian is, not some of these fakers. It's honestly quite satisfying watching them get beat up like this. Oh no. I think you've been found, R5. What are you going to do? I feel like you're just going to freak out. Ah, you little snitch.
Next shield!
Can it do it? I feel like it's fried at this point.
R5, next shield!
What? Come on, R5.
R5!
Oh, it's actually fighting back. Well done. Through the smoke. Yep, destroy him. Excellent work. Okay, like that, he got his own good focus. You may have been the side character this season, but you got an excellent scene here. Oh, there's more of them. You need to go. These things can't fly. What? So they're just alarms. Come on. Yep, just fly away. Yeah, done. And some even fell off the edge. feel like Grogu could have helped in that. Is he not allowed to see combat? Does he just stay there? I mean, what can this robot do? Because IG-11 had guns that he used. He didn't really have any weapons on, like, attached to him. He had guns. Is Grogu can do anything? That is so creepy. They look better than the ones from Navarro. Are they more complete? But how has this worked? He hasn't had Grogu's blood. Are they volunteers or clones? They look different in each one, I think. Focus in on one, please. This is so horrifying. Can you shut it down, or what can you do?
That's not Gideon.
Oh, he's cloned himself? Don't wake up. No, they woke up! No, I don't want more of them! What happened to your electric stick? Fry them!
Let's go.
Are they waking up or being destroyed? I don't want an army of Gideons. Please. Why would he clone himself? That's so weird.
We'll be safe down here a while. We've taken refuge in these surface caves since the Purge.
Greenery, plants. You actually have life. No longer desert. Life. This has got to be amazing for you lot. Having lived on Mandalore, just seeing it completely dead now actually has greenery. I've wanted this for so long. After hearing that it had forests, it now has plants again.
You found underground gardens.
No. We planted farms.
You did this?
These are the old species indigenous to Mandalore.
Are there trees?
Since before the centuries of civil war, once the planet was abandoned, they sprouted in spots.
Amazing, and you cultivated it. That is incredible. Can they replant the entire forest of Mandalore? Can this happen? Can this place be terraformed? I have so much hope.
I never knew the surface could still sustain plant life.
All they need is room to grow.
Oh, it's no longer just desert. You have, like, glass and rain.
Your reinforcements have arrived.
There she comes. Come on, Armorer. She's surely got to see this. It's the caricature of Mandalorians that have come about with the Dark Troopers. She's going to hate them.
Let's take back our planet.
I like this. Seeing the greenery has given her more hope. Seeing that there's more life on the planet, not just predators and nightmares. Seeing that there's just hope here now. It's incredible. How fast are the jetpacks if the ships are how slow are the ships going? Oh, and down she goes too. This does look very cool, just seeing them all flying together. And with the Darksaber leading the charge. Amazing. Come on, time to absolutely destroy Gideon. But where's Gideon gone? He was going to find Mando and deal with him himself, but Mando's gone to where Gideon was. Is this going to be a mid-air battle? All your weapons, how can this work? Because everyone's weapons don't work as great now, because they have the armor. Actually, armor probably could do more here. She's using hand-to-hand combat weapons and probably what would her tools be made of? Beskar? Yeah, and plus the concussion that she would give people probably would do a lot too. I feel like for blasters to work, they really have to hit like the spots right between the armor. He's not here, he left to go find you. I do wonder if this room recorded the meeting he had with the Imperial Remnants. Because Mando could find out about their, like... I'm locked in. Did he just... Oh no, he led a trap. Locked in. Why is he after you? Why not...
My clones were finally going to be perfect.
Ah, you're angry.
Best parts of me, but improved by adding the one thing I never had.
What?
The Force.
Really?
Was isolating the potential to wield the Force and incorporating it into an unstoppable army.
Of yourself. You're trying to give your... No.
Smothered them before they could draw their first breath.
Okay, so good, they're dead. So he was really trying to actually give himself the Force, but not himself, some clones of himself. The ego of this man, wow. So that is what his work with the Project Necromancer was. It was to give himself, or versions of himself, the Force. And he even looked like Darth Maul now. Is Darth Maul his inspiration or something like that? Because he's got the horns. Is this suit robotic? What's he done to himself? He's a cyborg. He's turned himself into a cyborg. You can hear it. Yep. Oh, and these things. How do you deal with those things? I'm sure Ezra went against them, but he did it. It was difficult for him. And he had the Force. What can you... I mean, you fight against Force sensitives, but still. Mandalorians can do it, but... Oh, wait. Is that what the Mandalorians fighting in the background? Just seeing them all flying around? Go on, Grogu. What can you do?
No.
Oh, no. Now you got their attention. What can Grogu do here? I mean, you have the Force. Whoa, great, no. What's happening? What can okay, it's been a while and now they're just closed off. Grogu's dead, right? How I don't see any way he can get out of that. Grogu's dead. You have this going on, everyone flying around. I'm waiting for Bo-Katan to go and kill Moff Gideon. Currently, it feels slightly odd that it's Mando against him. I feel like Bo-Katan should be, because she's been the one leading this season so far. Like, why suddenly go back to Mando focused when it would feel more natural for Bo-Katan to do it at this point. Excellent, more down. All Grogu can do, no, and dead. Oh no, he still has Jedi skills. Gotta remember that. So there's IG-11's corpse now even more dead. Come on, jump, jump, jump. Keep going, keep going. Waddle, waddle, waddle. What can he do? He's just what can he do? Just apart from running around. Because those things know how to deal with, like, Force people. Okay, nice. Go for the foot. But then you can't really punch him in the head. He's become a cyborg. He's modified himself. He's seen Darth Vader and Darth Maul as inspirations. And he's tried to become both of them. He's tried to give himself the Force. He's turned himself into part robot. The dude is nuts. He's so intent on trying to create the perfect army and perfect being that he's sort of even tried to do it to himself. And now Bo comes in. Thank you.
I've got this. Go save your kid.
Thank you. Good. Deal with Gideon.
Bo-Katan Kryze. What's it gonna be this time? Surrender or fight?
And you've never fought. Okay. You've never. We now. What in the thing? What on earth has he made? Oh, they make fake lightsabers. Ah. But I like this. We know that they've never fought before. Actually, she surrendered instead. They never actually had an actual duel. Oh no! No! Wait, no! Force. Use the Force. Use the Force. And dead. Okay, so blasters work on them. Good to know. Protect your kid. And protect your dad. Amazing. So yeah, that rod's definitely made out of Beskar then, because it ain't cutting. And it's also that purple lightning stuff that other sort of droids have used before. Grievous had droids that did that. No, Dooku had droids that did that. And they're a good substitute for people without lightsabers. The music's gone interesting. They've added a voice there. Yeah, Grogu good. Honestly quite surprised that these guys are having quite a lot of trouble here. These guys are super, like they're Palpatine's guards, essentially, right? Thank you for defeating them. Feel like that could have been a bit more difficult, maybe? Then again, it is two again. It's two of you. One Mandalorian and one Grogu. So fair enough. I just remember those things being incredible. Axe, you good? Are you dead? Still alive, but must be getting quite toasty in there.
I'm coming in hot. Clear everyone out. I'm going to take out the base.
Where? That's one way to do it. You're going to crash that thing into it. Nice. You have a jetpack. Ledges mean nothing. Come on, you've got to defeat Gideon before this place goes kaput. You've got to. Come on, do it for yourself.
Saber, and I'll give you a warrior's death.
Cut his head off. Oh, that was close. You went for it. I want confirmation. Did he really turn himself into a droid to make himself stronger? Because it sounds like he did. Huh? They destroyed it? You gotta be kidding me. They destroyed the Darksaber?
The Darksaber is gone.
But you wanted it! What?
Lost everything. Mandalorians are weak.
You just went from wanting it to just destroying it and feeling fine about that?
Mandalorians are stronger together.
Let me guess, giant army behind her. Wait, come on. Cut to it wide, just have all the Mandalorians fly up from the ledge and just shoot him. And of course you have that thing coming in. I mean, this is quite poetic, honestly. You had the Empire bomb this planet. Now you kind of have something similar. You had the Mandalorians technically throwing a giant bomb at them. Because this thing's fueled by probably similar stuff that the fusion bombs are yeah, that has fusion engines. This is going to be a huge explosion. Gotta get out, though. But you gotta make sure Gideon stays. Nice, yay, good. How much time do you have? Because the thing's here. If you're not careful, you're all gonna die. Oh, excellent, good work, Grogu. And you got rid of the weapon. Ah, no, nice try. You ain't shooting the kid. Okay, yay. Is that? I'd assume dead. But what about you two? You were like 3 feet away from him. How did you live? Okay, obviously the Force. Yay. I'm surprised this explosion isn't bigger. I thought it would just take out the entire base and everything left would be rubble. Beautiful work, kid. That does look very nice. How long will this explosion last, though? Probably a while. Can you make a break for it? Or no, you can't. You just get burned up. How long can you hold it? Oh, it's going down. Yay, good. Excellent. You all did something to save the day. Yay. I assume the base is still going to just keep falling apart, though, so you might want to move. Oh, everyone's down here. This is so cool. Oh, Paz's kid. That is the kid, right? I think it is.
I swear on my name and the names of the ancestors.
I swear on my name and the names of the ancestors.
Ragnar, yeah. So they're redoing it because it's got interrupted. And in the proper location, too.
And the words of the creed shall be forever forged in my heart.
Okay, cool.
This is the way.
This is the way.
So what does this mean? I thought he also... Is that just completing this sort of creed ceremony? Is he going to dunk Grogu in now? Can he dunk Grogu? Come on. Doesn't have a helmet though. He had IG-11. Can you fix that thing up?
He is too young to speak, so he is too young to take the creed.
You can communicate with the droid.
He must remain a foundling.
Oh. You can communicate?
If his parent gave permission, couldn't he then become a Mandalorian apprentice?
Interesting.
But his parents are far from here, if they're even alive.
Well, his parent is standing right next to you.
Then I will adopt him as my own.
You haven't already? I feel like that's just been done.
This is the way.
Okay, so is that just making it official? I feel like that's just been the way it has always been. Okay, cool, making it official, yay!
Song that Din Djarin is accepting this foundling as his son.
Nice, okay. Surprised that's only just happened. I was kind of just accepted that was always what they were doing.
Din Grogu, Mandalorian apprentice.
Actually, it's Sir Din Grogu. That's the one thing I liked from episode 6. He became a knight. It's Sir Din Grogu.
You must leave Mandalore and take your apprentice on his journeys.
You gotta be kidding. What? He's gotta leave again?
As your teacher did for you.
This is the way.
Okay, so they're leaving. Yay! Can you sense the mythosaur down there? Oh, he is. He's sensing it. Can we see it, please? I want to see it. Come on, let me see it again. Because I can barely make anything out. Come on, I want to see it. There it is. It's definitely force sensitive. Grogu can connect with the thing. Can it show up? I would love it if it shows up eventually. And you just have Grogu. But then the Darksaber's gone. There goes that dream. Want to see Grogu wielding the Darksaber, or like a Mandalorian Jedi wielding the Darksaber, riding on the mythosaur. Oh, you're going to relight the forge. Come on. Let this be beautiful. Come on, it's been long enough. Gideon is dead, hopefully, but he did have clones, so maybe had them elsewhere. And that fire should hopefully never go out. Oh, that's so cool, and it all goes blue. So is that the Great Forge? Does it count? I wanted to cut away and just show all the forge like light up, because that seems kind of small. Multiple forges, yay! Okay, that looks good. Beautiful. Okay, so Mandalore has officially been reformed. Finally! Oh, wait, why have we gone there? New Republic base? This is where Zeb was. We're seeing Zeb again. Maybe, I can dream. But why are you here? Looking for Zeb, looking for Zeb, looking for Zeb.
We've both been chasing Moff Gideon. You would have gotten him eventually. I just got there first.
Nah. Take the compliment, take the win.
I'm a bounty hunter by trade. Now that he's with me, I'll be more selective in my assignments.
You're changing your job? Joining New Republic, maybe?
You don't have the resources to protect the Outer Rim, let alone hunt down Imperial remnants.
They still don't know how they're organized.
You want to work for the New Republic?
Really?
On a case-by-case basis.
Nice, cool.
Contractor.
Honestly, like that, yeah.
You'll never get approved.
Which is why you won't tell them.
Let me think about it.
Oh, that's a yes. Yay! Okay, that sounds like an awesome job for Mando. Bounty hunting in a better sort of light. No, it's basically the same thing as bounty hunting, but working with the New Republic.
Scrap assassin droid head?
The head, really.
I need it for parts.
You're rebuilding his llama. Amazing.
To a cabin just outside of town where you can
lay low with your new family if you choose so.
Yeah, so he got even more, yay. What happened to the land that the Mandalorians had?
And that goes for you too, Din Grogu.
Feels so cool just hearing the full name now. Nope.
Greetings, citizens. I am IG-11, your new marshal.
Oh wait, he's actually back?
I am here to serve and protect the citizenry.
Okay, he's actually back. He's actually here.
I am at your disposal and serve at your pleasure.
Is his memory there? Is that like a new memory or is it like something else? Cool that he's back and been rebuilt. Yay! So does that mean Grogu doesn't get to like live in him then? Oh, is this the cabin? That looks so cute. Got a little tree too. And look at him. Oh, amazing. He's got food forever. Got a pond full of frogs. That's such a nice life. And that's the end. Incredible. Alrighty, well, I definitely did enjoy that final. I think, thinking about Mandalorian as a whole though, I think this definitely, season 2 was just incredible. I think that's what, this is definitely, it's not bad. Episode 6 drags the season down, but overall it's not that bad. I think it is pretty good. I think there's a bit, the way they use Bo-Katan and that whole thing, I get confused in this bit. Because this had far more Mando than it did Bo-Katan. This felt more Mando focused, and I'm conflicted on that. Well, yes, the show is called The Mandalorian, and we've been following Mando for some time. This season has felt like the book of Bo-Katan. I'd have expected it to end focusing on her, with Mando being the side character, but it seems like it flipped back on that, and it went and just had Mando be the main focus again, after everything it did with Bo-Katan. Bit confusing. But other than that, I really enjoyed this final. I think I like everything they did with Gideon. Seems like he's finally dead, but then again, it does leave the door open for him being possibly alive through clones. Maybe not all the clones were here. He had a base on Navarro, he had a base on Mandalore, he could have a base in other places where he could have a clone that could be force sensitive. So there's a chance that he's still alive in some variation. But I think this final was definitely just enjoyable. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot that's gone on here. There's some things that I think could have been done better a little bit, but I do like where this leaves things off. You have Grogu becoming Din Grogu, or I think is actually Sir Din Grogu because he has been knighted. But I think that I do enjoy this episode. There's a lot to think about. I think comparing it with season 2's final, it definitely isn't as good, and I'm trying to dissect what actually happens in this episode. So of course it starts off with Mando being rescued by Grogu. That I think is my first little nitpick, because Grogu escaped with Bo-Katan and yet somehow he is able to rescue Mando. That seems a little odd. Seems almost too convenient. So that I feel like is a bit, shouldn't have happened there. If anything, the way episode 7 left off, Grogu should have been with Bo-Katan, and they should have formed a plan to go save Mando, and then things should have kicked off. Then you had sort of Bo-Katan regrouping, finding out the plants that are still there, so I like that detail that there is now greenery on the planet and it is regrowing and restarting. I think this is the bit that sort of throws me. This episode does a whole lot for the final. Season 2 was quite simple. It does everything it needs to. That final, you took down Gideon and Grogu is sort of taken away by Luke. Everything is kept simple. It keeps it all, it basically closes off the story in a perfect way. This one almost tries to do too much, and it gets a little confusing trying to think about everything it manages to do. The greenery, Grogu finding Mando, the weird guards, Gideon talking about force sensitive clones and of himself and all that stuff, Darksaber being destroyed, which is really annoying, the ship raining down, acting like another bomb, but this time the Mandalorians against the Empire, so a bit of revenge in that sense. And then all the aftermath stuff, where IG-11 comes back to life and has his memory or whatever and her personality again. Forges being relit, Mythosaur being seen again, or at least being referenced again, not actually seen. Mando and Grogu on a cabin in some new land as well. So it does a lot, almost too much. I feel like it could have been made a bit more simple to focus on the actual conflict, because it does a lot for a season final. Like, I'm also thinking we basically learned Gideon's overall plan from the entire show here, and it's brushed over rather quickly. He's been trying to clone himself with force powers this entire time, had some ready to go, and then they're just dead. Then it's over, then that's done. So this entire thing that this villain's been working on all this time is done, it's over, that quickly. Not really given much attention. So I think that is kind of a negative, but still, I think this episode was just enjoyable. It was good. I think the season as a whole was good. It definitely has flaws in it, and I would think the way they handled Mando and Bo-Katan got a little tricky towards the end here. I think it should have just stayed focused on Bo-Katan like the rest of this season has been building to. This episode focused too much on Mando after how the season has been built. It was built around Bo-Katan. It ends far more focused on Mando. We got to see him escape the guards, see him have a fight scene, getting to the command center, see him destroy Gideon's clones, then see him fight Gideon first off, then see him fight the Imperial Guard things. Then Bo-Katan comes in after regrouping, flying with everyone, then she jumps in, then Gideon dies. So Mando gets far more to do in this, when I think it should have been the other way around. I think Bo-Katan should have been captured by Gideon, have him taunt her about the Darksaber, Mando leads everyone to try and save her, and then everyone sort of collectively wants to save her, and have her be the one that has the longer fight with Gideon, rather than Mando, because if you're going to change this season in a sense that it does focus more on Bo-Katan, go for it. Actually go for it. Don't at the end then suddenly change it back to Mando to make it feel more in line with what the show was, if you're actually changing it. I think that's the one thing that's kind of throwing me the most from this. But other than that, it was a good episode. I feel like I'm talking about it really negatively. I'm not. I do like this episode. It was good. It was really enjoyable. The action was great. Loved seeing Gideon again. They definitely did. I think, again, but they could have brought him back better. I feel like there's a lot that I do like and a lot of things that I can critique in like tiny minor ways, but I don't want to get hung up on those tiny minor things. I just think things there was a lot mentioned that got brushed past very quickly. Darksaber, again, that being destroyed. That's a huge thing and it's now destroyed. That is quite annoying. And it's not really, cause yeah, the Darksaber I think was just mistreated this season. It was given so much gravitas before and so much emphasis. And you can say that it being destroyed kind of helps Mandalore because now they don't have to rely on that thing to prove the leader. Yes, while in essence true, why give it so much emphasis to begin with then? And then why not emphasize the fact that it being gone also has meaning? Because it was just destroyed and then forgotten about, basically. There wasn't any other reference to it other than, it's gone now, what are you going to do about it? That was it. So having this weapon that has so much emphasis throughout the show, only be destroyed and tossed away like it has been nothing, just feels odd. If it's going to be destroyed, actually focus in on it being destroyed and how that's going to affect every single person in the society that views it with such value. And then again, it's also Beskar. It's an old Beskar alloy that Gideon managed to crush. So he's got to be cyber. He's got to change himself to be a cyborg or something. There's a lot of things that are in this episode that I feel get brushed over. Gideon being a cyborg is now another one of them. There's just so much in this final, but yes, it's enjoyable. I think if I were to sum up my initial thoughts on this final, it's that it was fun, it was enjoyable. My favorite part was probably seeing Mando go against the sort of waves of people watching R5 try and open the lasers and just have him go against waves of these dark troopers and as he took them out and just watching him go from no weapons to gradually building up his own little arsenal and being able to take them out. That's what a true Mandalorian is. Loved seeing that. So that's definitely my favorite part. And initial thoughts, it was a lot of fun, but definitely had a lot of room for improvement. Definitely does not come close to what season 2's final was. That was just incredible. To begin with then, I definitely enjoyed this episode, but the structure of it is becoming more clear after seeing the final. And that being that I don't think they had the best plan in place for this season. It's very clear how things seem to have changed over the course of Book of Boba Fett to this. Season 2 ends in a way where you see Mando and Grogu go their separate ways, and it feels like you're about to see a different type of story take place. Book of Boba Fett, of course, undoes that, and here we can see the effects of it. It seems like there was a different plan in place for whatever was going to come after season 2, and this had to sort of work around what Book of Boba Fett did instead. And the structure is just so evident how they used Bo-Katan and Mando. I wish, now, because looking back, it seemed odd that Bo-Katan took the focus, but that I think is because how they chose to title, or I think that's just how they chose to title this, I think. Being the Mandalorian, fine. But then the show is called The Mandalorian, not Mandalorians. So of course we follow Din Djarin, the Mando, the one that we get to know for 2 seasons. Then we go into the Book of Boba Fett, where should have just been season 3 of the show, but subtitled The Book of Boba Fett. The episodes are listed as chapters. This is the story of Mandalorians. First 2 seasons are basically the chapters of Din Djarin. Then it goes into the Book of Boba Fett. So we've had Din's book. Now they have Boba Fett's book in season 3. Season 4 should have been Bo-Katan's book, but it should have been in The Mandalorian and be that sort of season. So again, the way they've structured it, they've sort of made a mistake in that by making Book of Boba Fett its own show and not just keeping it with The Mandalorian. Then here, it seems like they tried to do something different, and they've tried to do what I've suggested in that you make Book of Bo-Katan a season of The Mandalorian, yet they haven't sort of gone at it the same way they should have, like they did almost with Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett had Boba be the center, yet they had Mando get shoehorned in and get too prominent. Here, you had a better balance to begin with, where it focuses more on Bo-Katan, with Mando being a side character, only for the final to then flip that around and make Mando the center and the focus, whereas Bo-Katan feels like she doesn't get that much to do when it has been leading to her this entire time. So I think that's what my biggest disappointment with this is that they flip-flopped with who they're going to focus on. This season, I feel like looking back, started strong with how they chose to focus in on Bo-Katan, because it uses Din Djarin first to bring us and introduce us to Bo-Katan. That's how it works. You get to see what he's doing after Book of Boba Fett. We follow him, we see him with Grogu. Then he goes to Bo-Katan for help because of why he wants to go to Mando. So he introduces the story, then Bo-Katan gradually becomes more the focus. And then that was right up until it was the same for the last episode. Bo-Katan was the focus. Then, for some reason, it flips it in this one and we go back to Mando. And I don't know why. And then I feel like another thing that makes the weird structure of this more evident is the fact they tried to go over so much stuff so quickly. So much was just shoehorned in here. We get to know what Gideon's whole thing was for the entire story, and he gets brushed over super quickly. The Darksaber gets destroyed, brushed over really quickly. Mandalore having plants again, brushed over really quickly. Yes, it does add something that was handled a bit better, because of course you can't really delve into a big moment about Mandalore having plant life again. But again, it was still brushed over super quickly. Mando being captured, brushed over super quickly. The idea of Gideon having sort of become a cyborg, again, not even really talked about. You could just hear it in the sounds. So again, that gets brushed over. So much is going on, so much is happening, so much is being tried to get brushed over, and that really goes to show that the structure clearly wasn't what they intended. These were the ideas that they always wanted to do. They seem to have always wanted to destroy the Darksaber, but it seems that they had a better plan in place for that, and they wouldn't have just brushed it over like they did here. Something's gone on, because Boba Fett clearly did something weird there that then had a knock-on effect to this, and it's meant that they've had to try and cram in all their big ideas for what the show is meant to be, and I think they did it well, but it just feels rushed. So yeah, then looking at Mando, who was the focus of this episode, that is undeniable. He got far more to do than Bo-Katan, even though this season was leading to be about Bo-Katan. We start off seeing him be freed by Grogu, which is a very cute scene. Everything with Grogu is super cute, but still, it feels too convenient. He's freed immediately after Gideon wants him debriefed or whatever, and he's immediately back in the fight. He's able to, we watch him go, and so I love his scene with him using R5 to get through to the control room. Absolutely love that scene. Going from no weapons, all by himself, to then basically building an arsenal. He's able to take down this small group of highly trained soldiers with nothing. He starts off with hand-to-hand combat, manages to get weapons, uses blasters, uses so many different types, uses the weird electric rod, uses the shield, and actually gets his way to the end. That is a Mandalorian. I love that scene in the sense that shows what a true Mandalorian should look like compared to these fakers that Gideon is trying to make. Perfect. Love that. This whole show is about deciding what a Mandalorian is and redefining it, and this was basically the perfect scene. You have fakers, you have a foundling that has grown up and been raised in this culture who doesn't agree with all the clans and the different things, but of course this is what it comes down to. Being able to fight and be a master of weaponry and protect yourself with Beskar armor. Perfect. Then of course, Mando destroys Gideon's hard work and flushes out those awful clone things with Force-sensitive capabilities. So again, we don't really know how Gideon was able to do that. I'm assuming he got Grogu's blood originally from Season 2 and that's what he's used it for here. But again, it's not quite made clear. I thought that was done now. So he was able to continue that and it's just brought back up again without really any explanation. And then it's also destroyed and moved past very quickly. And then of course we have Mando fighting Gideon and taking out the weird guard, the red guards, Emperor Palpatine's guards. That's what I know them as. I don't know their name. I just know that they're equipped to deal with Force-sensitive Jedi people. So it was good to see Mando go against them. I think those guards, they've always seemed to be like a level above regular fighters to me. They've always seemed far more sort of impressive and far more difficult to deal with. Above droids, above dark troopers, they were like the top-notch guard things. And I feel like they were a bit too easy to take. That might just be my opinion. They might feel a bit too easy to me with how Mando and Grogu were able to defeat them. Of course, they're working together, Force-sensitive against Force-sensitive, working with a Mandalorian. It makes sense how they would be able to defeat them. But I think I was just hoping for a little bit more there, because those guards are so sort of impressive, and the way they were defeated felt too easy. Then, of course, this episode ends with Mando getting his new life. Gideon's gone. He is now working with the New Republic. Like the idea of that, it's better sort of suited for his bounty hunter stuff, because he can't go around beheading people with Grogu. That would be a bad example to set. So now he has to go to the New Republic and do a case-by-case thing. So it seems like he's gone and done what Cara Dune would have done. That's cool. So that's clearly another story they wanted to tell, but then didn't. So now they're doing it again with Mando. Interesting. So it seems like his official position going forward is like this sort of protector of the Outer Rim, because that's what he told Carson, that they don't have the strength for the Outer Rim. He didn't mention Navarro, he didn't mention Mandalore, it was the Outer Rim. He's going to become New Republic's protector of this sector of the galaxy. Amazing. I do like that direction for his character, but then again, it also feels slightly rushed, because you have him finally reclaim Mandalore. He's with his covert again, he's living with his people, and then now he's living on Navarro in a cabin. Why not go back with the covert when you're on your downtime? That seems like they wanted to force a connection with Navarro, which wasn't necessary. If the Mandalorians have a base there, love it, fine. But with how much they fought for to free Mandalore and just bring it back, now the covert is now working with regular Mandalorians, and they're all together. Why has Mando suddenly decided to go to Navarro to be alone and stuff? Why not go back with his covert, which he's fought so hard to be reunited with? It feels like they wanted this show to end with him being independent, and this was like the only way to do it after making him so connected with so many people before. It feels like the reasoning behind him being on his own on Navarro is rather weak when he should just be with the covert. It feels like he should just be with them. Then Bo, honestly, she did not get a lot to do in this. First, she regroups. So just recapping in my head, she regroups, finds the new plant life. I like that because it shows another aspect of the planet's rebirth and growth. That there once on Mandalore was forests and not desert. It was a forest planet filled with greenery and life, and then it became a desert through war. Now she's seen that the plants are returning, and it's thanks to Mandalorians. It didn't just happen. They've actually cultivated this and farmed it and tried to keep it growing. They've seen that Mandalorians aren't just capable of all-out destruction, but also at cultivating life. Amazing. Love that. It gives her more hope. Then she goes in with the Mandalorians in a giant aerial assault. Cool scene. Love the aerial combat. I think I really enjoyed Armor's sort of part in that, where she was just conking people on the head with her tools. So she, I feel like, must have been the most effective there, because the laser fire against Beskar, I feel like the main thing about that is propulsion. It must just sort of knock people back. Armor was giving people full-out concussions, so she was knocking people out left and right. Then Bo-Katan lands and allows Mando to go and save the kid while she fights Gideon. And then the Darksaber gets destroyed. And then, of course, everyone comes back, they fight him and beat him together. He dies in the explosion, they survive, Dead Mandalore's rebuilt, and that's more of a sort of a team effort, all Mandalorians working together. So I was waiting for the moment when she felt truly worthy of using the Darksaber again, and I guess that moment was during seeing the plants. That must have been it. Because episode 7, we had that moment where she felt unworthy of it, and she had the weapon and she was still unworthy of it. So it was a mirrored sort of part for before, when she had the weapon and she still wasn't worthy of it because she hadn't won it in combat. This was again the same thing happening, but now she had to try and find that moment where she does feel worthy and she does truly forgive herself. That's never really explicit. I'm not really sure where it happens. I'm guessing it's with the plant scene, because she fails with, so you have the ambush in episode 7. Paz dies, she runs away, she retreats, she finds the plants, then she goes back into battle. So she doesn't really have that moment of, I feel worthy again, I'm going to do this. It's almost implied when she sort of leads the charge with the Darksaber, but it's not really that implicit of a moment. It looks cool, it feels cool, but it's not really that substantial character moment where she's getting sort of that full-on forgiveness for herself. Like, what's the difference between her there and her before when she didn't feel worthy? Is it just the fact that people believe in her now and people are fighting for her, which could be the answer? But again, there was never really a moment to focus in on that. But yeah, now she should be ruling Is there someone? They don't really say it. The Darksaber's been destroyed. Who's ruling Mandalore now? With that thing gone, what does that mean? You had the whole Axe Wolf thing be about, oh, you can't rule Mandalore because the Darksaber's gone. What happens now? Is she the ruler? Isn't she? Is it a democratic process? Is the Armorer the leader? What's happening? So much is left unanswered with how they've chosen to do this, and that's very confusing to me. Is she the leader? Because there's a good argument to be made that she's no longer the leader and that Mandalore doesn't have one anymore because the Darksaber is gone. But then the easy option is just to say, yes, she's the leader, that's happening, she lit the forge, so that could be signifying that she is still the leader. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. She's now the leader, things are happy, Mandalore can be rebuilt, and they're going to slowly start bringing this planet back to a good sort of civilization. Of course, they need to contact the other clans and get them all back, but this is a brilliant start for them. Grogu, of course, being the more light-hearted aspect of this episode, him running around in the droid is just funny, but of course he had no combat capabilities. It was basically just his way of talking to people. And when he had to fight the guards, he survived for a while and managed to jump around and flip around, but ultimately, yeah, he was helpless to them. I think Grogu's main thing that happened in this episode is that he gets adopted. And that feels, I feel like that was already said. That was implied, I'm sure. Yeah, in Book of Boba Fett, when Mando basically takes the kid back, that's basically implying that they're family now. It's not that adoption feels implied there. So it feels like a moment that may have been, it's a nice moment, don't get me wrong. It's a very nice moment, but was it necessary? I feel like they've already been a family, they've already been adopted. I guess the moment itself, actually saying the words and being adopted and doing the name, I think that it makes it worth it. But again, it already feels like it's been implied for a long time now that Grogu is just Mando's son. It doesn't feel like there's any difference here. Really, the only difference is in name. But yeah, it was a nice moment, happy it happened, and now Grogu is officially Mando's son, so that's done. It's official. Looking at Gideon, I feel like I'm disappointed by how he was treated this season. I feel like he should have had more build-up. And then his ultimate goal, the thing he's been doing for these 3 seasons, is just brush past very quickly. He's been such an incredible bad guy, and I feel like he just didn't get treated as well as he should have been. Like this whole time, he has been trying to merge three cultures basically, cloning, Jedi, and Mandalorian. That sounds insane. It's something that deserves an entire plotline to itself, and I think Bad Batch does it best with how they go into Project Necromancer, showing the detail in all of that. This one skips over it very quickly. The project is kept secret, I think, for too long. I feel like it should have been known and that they should have been fighting against it longer. Here is kind of the afterthought. Gideon's whole thing, the show started around Grogu being the key to this project, essentially, and now it's the afterthought. It's the thing that Mando just happens to destroy and then goes in to fight Gideon, and then he has a rant about it and then they fight. It should have carried far more emphasis, being that this was his ultimate goal. The villain for this show, his ultimate goal was just brushed past very quickly. It done. Over. The idea is so cool, being able to clone him. So that one clone that did open his eyes, that had Force sensitivity, and that makes sense. He was looking at another Force sensitive creature, Grogu. They were interacting through the Force, so we know that it was working there. And then he had the Mandalorian armor, so that basically was a success. It was done, and then over in like half a second, and then not even referenced ever again. I mean, I do like the layers that got added to him here, where he's basically just an egomaniac who believes that he can improve things to an absurd degree, and that they're already faulted to begin with. That whatever he touches is somehow improved. I do like that layers got added to him. It seems like he also tried to improve himself with adding cybernetics, being able to crush pure Beskar in his hand. He definitely turned himself into a robot type thing. So it's clear that his inspirations are both Darth Vader and Darth Maul. Maul because of the helmet. Death Watch, he probably watched that during the Clone Wars and thought, oh, that's cool, and did that. So there's a lot of implied layers to his character, which are nice, but they just get brushed over so fast that it feels disappointing. Far more emphasis should have been put on him and his plan and how that impacted Mandalore. Literally, his whole point of being on Mandalore and the whole reason for this fight is that he wants this plan up and running. This should have been brought into focus far earlier that he was doing this stuff, and the Mandalorians didn't just want to defeat Gideon to reclaim their home, but they wanted to defeat him to stop this race of being that could very much challenge them. That's only brought into light in this episode. The idea that Mandalorians are trying to reclaim their home and be the most powerful warriors in the galaxy again should have been coupled with the idea that the villain is trying to create an even more powerful thing out there, and that the Mandalorians themselves have to stop that. There's so many cool things in his plan that just get pushed aside, really, and get lost in everything else that's happening. There's such cool concepts, but everything just happens so quickly that you're not allowed a moment to really think about it and think about how cool that is and what that would impact and how that would impact the story and the galaxy. Okay, then I do want to talk about Axe Wolves, and I did look up, I thought he died. Turns out he didn't. I missed that, but I think also he did quite a lot here. I think that also gets brushed over. His command was to go and warn the fleet that the Imperials were here and they were going to send TIE fighters and destroy everything. He not only does that, but he comes up with a plan to use the main ship as a decoy and manages to basically trick the enemy incredibly well. The ship plummets and he uses that to completely destroy the base. He did far more than I think the main characters maybe? He's the one that killed Moff Gideon, he destroyed the base, and you really have to take a moment to realise how much this guy actually did for one command. It's really impressive, but it does make me wonder about the structure of this, because I feel like that should have been given a lot more emphasis. The fact that he did that in that moment, which was insane, because you realise that he's done that, but then you also have the comparison with the main characters that are fighting the villain. They weren't the ones to kill him, Axe Wolves was. So I think it just kind of feels, I wouldn't say messy, everything makes sense, but it just happened so fast that you don't really have time to process everything that is happening. And so much good stuff gets brushed over and you don't give a chance to process all of this. But yeah, as for what's next, I'm not quite sure. Is there like another season coming out of Mandalorian? Because it feels like it kind of ends here. Mandalore, rebuilt, Mando and Grogu working for the New Republic, doing something. Going on a case-by-case basis, being protector of the Outer Rim, and I'm assuming going against other Imperial Remnant things. That sounds cool. If anything, they can make a new show out of that. But I think ultimately, even though this episode did have its faults, it does build things off in a good way for the rest of the galaxy. Mandalore's been rebuilt, and it seems like it's a brilliant location. It is basically a communication dead zone, which seems incredible for like bases and operations and secret missions. And the actual story of the Mandalorians has come to a really good spot now. After absolutely years of war with each other and destroying their own planet, now they've got a chance to restart anew and be better and just bring their people home, and actually all of them this time, and not do what they did in the past. So going forward, I'm very excited to just see more Mandalorians and just see if there's any more connection they have with this planet and just what's going on in the galaxy, because they could be stewards of such good here. I just imagine if Mandalore was in a better position back in Clone Wars, where Satine didn't have to argue between the New Republic and the Separatists about who to join. They could just defend themselves fully with no infighting, no death watch. They were all unified in their planet. They were the best warriors ever. They basically could have been the mediator between the two. It's best to have such a powerful thing be its own independent stuff, because then they do what they want and they basically help out with the rest of the galaxy, solving conflicts and being able to do what's good. They're not controlled by anyone, they're controlled by themselves. They don't care enough about other people to get involved. They just care about themselves, and if they get sort of messed with, they will fight back. So when you have something like the Sith show up who want to dominate everything, Mandalorians will naturally go against them. So now they're in such a better position, and I can't wait to see what this means for like the galaxy going forward, because if you have the Imperial remnants coming back who will want to control everything, the Mandalorians will be in a much better position to take them on. But yeah, overall this episode, while enjoyable, had many faults and was just generally too rushed. So much happens that just gets brushed over because it's trying to do something else immediately after. But as a season, I think this was okay. They definitely had, I've got to remember, there was a far worse episode than this, being episode 6. And I think this just being part of Mandalorian, season 1 and 2 are amazing. So of course, this one, having those same characters and continuing that story, isn't as bad as it could have been independently. Yeah, it's definitely the worst of the seasons. There's still plenty of it you can enjoy, but I think the ending overall is just rushed, which is just disappointing. So much is trying to be done that they're brushing past so many different points of story that should have been given far more focus. Gideon's plan, what he's done to himself, reclaiming the planet, Darksaber being destroyed. So much is happening that it just gets too out of hand, and ultimately the episode, there's not really a moment where you can just really focus in on something and take a breather. Everything happens and then it's over. But then I think the saving grace for me for this episode was Mando's scene in the hallway. Going from no weapons to taking out the entire room of Dark Troopers. Absolutely amazing. Truly shows what a Mandalorian should be, that weapons are basically their religion. They understand them more than anyone. They know how to defeat someone easily, no matter what. But yeah, with that said, that does bring me to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about this episode and this season as a whole down in the comments below. And with that, I will see you in the next one for Ahsoka Episode 1. See ya!